Hi, everybody. My name is Sandy Moore. I am the president of Segrest Inc. We are a group of companies that sell fish to pet stores across the country. We sell freshwater fish and marine fish, corals, birds, small animals and reptiles, and even aquatic plants. We have 2 distribution facilities here in Hillsborough County. We also have 6 farms in this tri-county area of Hillsborough, Pasco, and Polk counties. There are also about 100 fish farms within this 50-mile radius of us, and this is actually the aquarium fish farming capital of North America. So besides breeding fish here, we also import fish and animals from all over the world. So we get shipments from every continent every week except Antarctica, although COVID has made it a little more challenging because not everybody is flying everywhere. So coming up, we've got some video of our production facilities where we raise fish, and then we have video also of our distribution facilities where we're packing fish out to go to retailers. And then finally, we have several different videos of some of the different types of animals that we sell to pet retailers. So if you are looking to get a pet, we encourage you to do your research and make sure that you're able to give the animal a good life over, everything that the animal is going to need over its lifespan, and make sure you check with your parents. All right, thanks.
So this is my own personal pet, Miss Scarlet, and I named her Miss Scarlet because I bought her in Atlanta. So she's named after Scarlett O'Hara, but it also goes well with her coloration. She is a rose-breasted cockatoo, also known as a gala. Her species is native to Australia, found all over Australia, and gala is the Aboriginal word for clown, and that fits her personality really well, doesn't it? Yeah, you're not going to play with me right now. You're not going to do that. So they fly together in flocks all over, and they nest in holes in trees. You can find them all over, hanging out on the telephone wires and stuff. And she will live to be up to 80 years old. You're going to be an old lady. Yeah. I feed her a varied diet. I make her an organic vegetable mix that she gets every morning along with a prepared diet, so to make sure she gets all the minerals and vitamins that she needs. They are the most common of the cockatoo species, and they get very bonded with their owner, which anybody that knows her knows that if I'm around, she's not coming to you. She'll come to you if I'm not there, but she prefers me, which is really cool. So she's different than owning a dog or a cat. A dog, if you own a dog, you're always its master, and if you own a cat, that is kind of in reverse. The cat thinks that it's your owner, but a bird kind of thinks it's your equal. So it's kind of like having a 2-year-old sister. I had to have her DNA tested to find out if she was a boy or a girl, and she's a girl because there's no sexual dimorphism between the sexes of these birds. And so she's really tame. She doesn't bite too hard. And she goes with me pretty much everywhere I go. She's got a cage here at work, and she's got a cage at home, and she is pretty much friends with everybody. So our next animals are ball pythons, and Miss Becca, who works in our sales department, brought in a couple of her babies.
I did. So these are ball pythons. You can find them in Africa. They are in the grasslands. Great beginner snake species. They don't require a whole lot of any extra. 40-gallon breeder is big enough for an adult size. Temperatures you want to keep them around, I would say 80 with a hot spot of 90. This girl here is one of my most prized babies. She is a pastel butter, and she also is het for hypo or ghost. Her mate in a few years will actually help me produce blue eye leucisticus, which are a very, very desirable species. This one here is also a pastel. He has some het traits as well. He's het ultramel, het clown. So I have a visual ultramel female that I will breed him to, and they will make me ultramels, which is another very desirable species. A cool thing about these guys, in ancient times they used to call them royal pythons. They were worn as jewelry by, I guess, elite people back in the day, and they were royalty for them. You know, if they would find a dead python on the ground, they would actually hold a funeral for it because they were held in such high esteem. So very, very cool animals. Like I said, great beginner pet. My kids love them. I have a 5-year-old. He loves to help take care of them. He loves to help feed them. So just all around great starter animal for somebody who wants to get into reptiles, and she's being a little crazy here.
Yeah, if I were to start over again as a first pet, this would be my favorite first snake because they don't get too big and they're really docile. I have never been bit by one, and I have handled hundreds of them.
Yep.
And so for somebody who's, you know, afraid of getting bit, this is a great snake because it just likes to cuddle up on you and hang out and feel your body warmth, and it's kind of like that.
Yeah, they're great snugglers. They love to snuggle. Like Sandy said, they don't get real big. I mean, 6 feet max, which is not too bad for a snake, considering some of them get a lot bigger than that. Right. But all around great starter. This guy here is my oldest snake. This is what got me into snakes. I got him in 2006. He was about the size of a pencil when I got him. His name is Leonidas, King Leonidas. He is now about 14 years old. He is very active, as you can see. Like I said, this is what got me into snakes to begin with. This is another great beginner species. They're not aggressive at all. I mean, he's never even struck at me before, even after handling food. Great animal. They get pretty decent size, as you can see. And if I recall, Sandy has an experience with these guys.
So they're also my first snake. so when I was 10 years old, my mom worked at fish farms, and I wanted to make money, so I started going out into the woods and collecting these rat snakes, also known as corn snakes, and selling them to Mr. Segrest for $5 a foot.
Wow.
And that's still what they're worth.
Alright, so then over here we have another ball python. This is a pied ball python. So when we were talking about het traits before, this is an example of a visual het trait. So the other ones were just expressing the traits. She is actually a visual. You would need 2 pythons that either have the het trait for pied, or 1 visual pied and 1 het pied. If you breed 2 visual pieds together, you would get 100%. If you breed one that is 50% pied to a visual pied, you will get 50% visuals, and then you'll get 25% that are expressing het, and then 25% normal. So awesome, again, another awesome beginner snake. Beautiful. This is one of the most highly sought after traits in a snake. When you breed them to other highly sought after, like for example ultramel, if you do ultramel and pied, those snakes right now are going for thousands and thousands because they're just absolutely stunning.
Yeah. So we want to take a moment and talk about responsible pet keeping. When you keep exotic species like snakes or even fish, cats, you don't want to accidentally let them go into the wild, because their chance of survival in the wild is not good. They could get eaten or run over, or they could eat other native species and become a problem, like some things that we've seen in South Florida. So when you buy an animal, make sure that you get the proper housing for it, and make sure that they can't escape by accident into the wild.
So here we have a leopard gecko and a red flame Uromastyx. These are both going to be Middle Eastern species. This specific leopard gecko is tangerine, which is a specific line breed to get more orange out of them. Very cool animal, beginner, super social. They've got cute little smiles on their face all the time. Cool thing about them is they've got a little bit fatter of a tail here. They actually store fat there in case they can't find food available, so that's very helpful to them. Another neat thing about these guys is their vision. They actually have cat-like eyes. You can kind of see when you look at them, they have excellent vision. Great starter pet. They don't get huge. This one is actually my son's. He loves him, he handles him, obviously supervised, but awesome starter pet for these guys. And then this is a red flame Uromastyx. This is more of an intermediate species. I wouldn't call this a beginner, so definitely don't want to make it your first reptile. They do need a very hot spot, which is what makes them intermediate, about 120 to 130 degree basking spot for them. They're mostly plant eaters, vegetable eaters. You can give them the occasional bug treat, but they don't drink a whole lot of water, so they're getting a lot of their hydration from the vegetables. A cool thing about those guys is they've got this spiked tail on them, so what they do in the wild is they'll wedge themselves between rocks, puff up so they can't be pulled out, and then whip their tail around to deter predators. Love this guy. This is one of my most recent purchases. If you're comfortable with lizards, you've had some, you've worked with them, great species. As you can see, he's super calm. He just loves to hang out.
So here we've got a baby redfoot tortoise. She's about 2 years old. Her species is native to Guyana and Suriname, the northern part of South America, right on the Atlantic Ocean. Her species comes out of the rainforest of the Amazon. She'll grow up to be about 12 to 14 inches long, and for a tortoise for Florida, she is absolutely perfect because she likes to be in a humid environment where most tortoises come out of the desert, and it's hard to recreate that in Florida on a large scale. She eats plants, vegetables, strawberries, hibiscus flowers, and the occasional monkey biscuit. She will need a pen. I'm sure she's probably kept inside most right now.
Yes, she's inside right now, but she does have a pen outside ready for her when she's ready.
Yeah. So she'll need a pen that's maybe 12 foot by 12 foot that is dug far into the ground, because what she's really good at is burrowing and making tunnels. So we want to make sure that animals like her don't get released into the wild accidentally, because she wouldn't survive well in Florida. But absolutely great pet as an intermediate pet. This is for a more experienced reptile hobbyist.
So here we have a pumpkin patch tarantula. She is a New World dwarf species. This is a great beginner species to get you into tarantulas because they don't require huge enclosures. End game, I'll probably have her in a 2-gallon enclosure. As you can see, they great webbers, very, very active, very fast. So when you are rehousing, you want to be very careful with these as they're very flighty. I do all my rehousing in my bathtub with the drain stopper plugged, just in case they do get out while you're trying to rehouse them, but you always want to have a catch cup handy. It's a great beginner. I feed her small mealworms. It's a good starter species. We have another New World tarantula species. This is a Trinidad olive, gold form. These are another good beginner species. They do web up a lot. This one doesn't have a whole lot of webs in here yet because I did just recently rehouse it. This one I have not sexed yet. When they're smaller, they're a little bit more difficult to sex. Basically what you're gonna do is you're gonna get the molts, you're gonna put it in some water with a drop of dish soap, warm water, and then you can flip it over, look at the interior of the abdomen to see the sex of them. Great starter species, doesn't get real big. This is probably what I'm going to keep this one in long term. Feeds mealworms, superworms as it gets bigger. Great starter. So here we have a desert hairy scorpion. This guy is just a baby. They do get about 5 inches long. This is not an endgame container for him. He'll be about a 10-gallon, I would say. They do like to hide. There's normally a hide in here with him, but so you could see him, I pulled it out. Really cool thing about scorpion is under ultraviolet light, they glow. Really, really neat to see. This is a species that you will find in the United States, southwestern United States. Very cool. They're, I would say, probably intermediate on this one just because they do need a little bit warmer of an area. I do have a water dish in here. It's not required, but it is something that I do keep in there with them.
Hi there, kids. I know we've been a lot of really fun, unique animals you've seen here. We've had many reptiles and, goodness, insects, things like that. So we thought we would end with something cute and furry and loving, and this is our rabbit. It's not ours personally. It is one of our staff members. His name is Sonic. If you've ever owned a rabbit, you know how amazing they are to have. This little critter actually lives indoors and outdoors. He has quite a large habitat, so he's very, very spoiled. Rabbits make fantastic pets and companion animals. They're great for the whole family. They can be litter trained, so you can have them have a habitat in your home, as well as running around your home and playing with your children and other pets as well with slow introductions. So somewhat easy to care for. You do want to make sure you have ample space, as you know they are going to hop around a bit. So a good, 2 to 4 foot enclosure that they can kind of hang out at night. And if you want them out during the day, make sure you have your cords tied up and things like that, places that they can go that could be potential harm to them. But other than that, they really can be a large part of your family. They can live up to 8 years. This is a buck. You can get them spayed and neutered, and that will actually help them live a little bit longer and actually become a little bit more friendly as they mature. They have a basic pellet diet. but they can be fed very different vegetation. So you can do a little bit of research on how much that is, but it's usually about 10% of their diet. So you can have a lot of fun with different kinds of treats and things like that. They do enjoy hay. Putting a pile of hay in their cage is quite fun to watch. They will hop around, make a big mess of it. As you can see, they're quite loving. Snuggled all up there. He'll sit there for quite a long time.
Yeah, I'll probably let him.
Exactly. We don't mind when the rabbits come here
Yeah.
and hang with us. We kind of like our
It's
job.
very sweet.
So we hope you enjoyed the Great American Teach-In. We really appreciate you coming on and watching our show. We love sharing our passion for our animals and our pets with you. And if you've seen any of these animals that you're really excited about, reach out to your local retailer, ask questions, and find out which pet is going to be right for you and going to be right for your family. Because there's a lot of really great animals to own out there, and we hope to see you with them.
Thank you.
For those of you new to the aquarium hobby, a Betta Fish makes a perfect introductory pet. They're not only colorful, but also have a great personality. They can live in smaller environments, usually about a gallon or above, and will thrive with clean water. Providing a filter will help you keep the aquarium clean and your fish happy. It is best to consider adding a heater if your house temperature sits below 76. These animals are incredibly interactive and do grow a nice personality. They can even learn to do tricks, recognize your face, and even come to the sound of your voice. If you are considering getting an aquarium, a Betta Fish would be a perfect choice to start with.